Welcome to the Craptacular podcast, where each month we continue our search for the best bad movies on the planet Earth. I am your host, Aaron, and I am joined once again by Matt. How are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing very well. Very, very well.
Me too. I'm doing pretty good.
I didn't ask.
Thanks. thanks for asking. We watched our first Australian movie on this show. First of many.
Oh, please.
To come.
Please, many.
We watched the classic 1985.
Yeah.
4?
I think it was 85.
3?
2, 1.
Movie from the 80s.
Lift off.
No, it was called BMX Bandits.
BMX Bandits.
BMX Bandits. They're wild in the streets in a high-flying ride to adventure. It's thrills and spills, fast and furious fun. It's a real blast.
BMX Bandits, Matt. Directed by the legendary Brian Trenchard-Smith, which I don't know if you know.
I don't.
He made such classics as The Man from Hong Kong and Turkey Shoot.
Oh.
And Stunt Rock, which has much stunt and much rock and not a lot else.
Together at last.
It's that we should do Stunt Rock on the, although there's not really a lot to. It's basically an Australian stuntman doing stunts, and then there's an American rock band called Sorcery that are terrible, but they do music. They do magic as well as rock.
Wow.
And they do better magic than they do music. And that's kind of all there is to the movie, actually.
So that's not much a talking about movie, but just a watching and enjoying kind of movie.
Yeah. It's schlock for schlock's sake.
Okay.
And it's great. And Brian Trenchard-Smith is kind of the master of Australian schlock. He made a great movie called Dead End Drive-In, which we should watch on this show one day.
I'd love to.
But we watched BMX Bandits, which was not Nicole Kidman's first movie.
Okay.
Her first movie was called Bush Christmas.
Okay.
Which is about it's like Little House on the Prairie, but in the outback at Christmas. So they live in the bush. Okay. So it's not as dirty as you thought.
Yeah, that title left
it was
too much up to the imagination. Bush.
But it is her second movie and her first actual movie. It's kind of
Christmas doesn't count.
This is This is pre Dead Calm Nicole Kidman. This is pre Days of Thunder Nicole Kidman. All right, this is even pre Wind Rider Nicole Kidman. This goes way back.
Yeah, you said she was 16.
16 man.
In this role. Like you look at her face and you're like, yeah, that's Nicole Kidman, but she's still got like a little bit of that childish chubbiness in her cheeks.
Yeah, like you know when like grown-up actors play kids in movies, and you just kind of like ignore it.
Yeah.
After a while, because you're like, oh, that's. I mean, like they're young-ish, so I guess that's what 18-year-olds look like. They look like 29-year-olds. No, this like they're actually played by 16-year-olds, and they look super young. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
In that way, but anyways, BMX Bandits was a movie that we watched.
Yes.
And I don't really know where to start. Well, I'll start by saying this. We watched it on the internet on a website called Shout Factory TV.
Shout Factory.
Which is pretty great. The Shout Factory makes awesome Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff, and I've bought a good amount of their stuff myself. And they just have this free streaming service called shoutfactorytv.com where you can just watch a bunch of stuff for free. And yeah,
it's pretty dang fantastic.
There's some ads on the website. We didn't see them because I used an ad blocker. Oh, I'll cut this out. And we should also just mention we're not sponsored by them. But if they'd like to sponsor us, we'd get in touch. retrocrappod@gmail.com.
That would be so much
We
fun.
would love to sponsor or be sponsored by them, feature more of their content. We'll probably do it anyways because there's some really good junk on there.
Oh, yeah.
This was ripped from a VHS tape. and upload to the internet
Yep, straight up.
from their VHS vault, which I guess is like a bunch of movies that you can't really get other places or hard to get other places.
Probably just hard to get, but yeah.
I haven't seen BMX Bandits on the Blu-ray shelf at Best Buy yet, so.
So plot?
What happens in this movie? I mean,
Yeah.
not a lot.
Not too much. So, yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. BMX Bandits, I expected some kind of, big biker gang or whatever, but it really just starts with these two kids, and they're on BMX bikes, and they're just kind of shooting the shit.
Yeah, and they had full face helmets on, and so we were like guessing that they were probably stunt doubles that were like 10 to 20 years older than they were.
Yeah, very likely.
Doing all the like tricks and stuff. Yeah, then so they're just like biking around like the boardwalk, and then a robbery happens.
Yeah, but like
that has nothing to do with them.
Yeah, just like separate scene. They're gonna race each other to get a milkshake, and the loser buys.
Yeah,
and then it just cuts to a bank robbery.
Yeah, just armed robbery just happening.
Classic, like wearing pig masks, and then like the leader, I guess, is wearing a wolf mask because he's the big bad wolf.
Yeah. I picked
cute.
up on that.
And then they rob a joint with shotguns.
Yeah, and then they drive away, and then it kind of just like cuts back to the kids, and they meet up with Nicole Kidman, plays Judy.
Yeah, and she's like working at a supermarket or something. She's like pushing carts.
Yeah, she's gathering
carts.
all up the carts from the parking lot, and then one of the BMXers like hits some carts that got away from her.
Well, first we're introduced to a delightful side character who I don't know his name, but we'll just call him.
It's Fatty Ice Cream.
Fatty Ice Cream. So Fatty Ice Cream is there giving her a hard time, and she's all like, "Leave me alone," That was terrible.
Yeah, alone.
Yeah,
leave me alone.
Yeah.
Trying to do my work. Collecting the cats. Everyone's super Aussie in this movie. It's
Just
great.
to be clear, we're not making fun. We love this.
We
accent.
love Australia.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. We'd be 10 to 15% more funny if we had an Australian accent.
Easily.
Yeah,
easily. I'm really bad at it though, so I'm just not going to try.
You just got to add
this show.
every vowel sound into every word.
Yeah.
Like go, why?
It's just like that.
Yeah.
That wasn't offensive.
No.
Fuck. Okay, so Fatty Ice Cream.
Fatty Ice Cream.
Giving her a hard time, and then he goes to push a bunch of her carts away, like a section of the carts. She grabs them and is a little, get away. And then the manager's like, "Jody, get back to work. I'm a gruff dude," except an Australian accent.
Yeah, so he's not that gruff.
And then while her head's turned, he pushes the section away again, and it gets away from her, and she's got to go after it. And then our two BMX bandit buds totally bail.
Yeah, crash into it, flip over it.
And they're actually they're the best. They're super nice bros. They're hilarious together.
Were they friends before this scene?
Oh yeah,
I imagine they were
looked like
friends.
they were just longtime friends, and they go BMX biking together all the time. And
No, not them. I mean them and Judy.
Oh no, I think they met for the first time.
That was okay.
Yeah, they meet for the first time, falling over all these carts, and then the manager is so pissed about it, straight up fires Judy. And the BMX guys are like, "It totally wasn't her fault. We're okay. You don't have to do this. That's not fair." And he's like, "Life ain't fair, kids." And then straight up fires Judy.
Yeah. And so I guess at some point in that scene, so they got to fix their bikes and they need to get some money, but then they also need to get Judy a bike.
Yeah, they feel really bad because they feel like they got her fired.
Yeah, so they come up with a scheme to go steal lobster pots to
sell them back.
To get money.
Yeah, for the seafood restaurants.
But the villains, in between them going to steal lobster, or them crashing into the carts and them going to steal lobster pots, the villains have this little thing where they're like, "We got these police radios coming in from America, and they can, like, we can hear all the police chatter, and we need them for our next heist, and we're going to steal $250,000
$250,000
each by
And
driving
they're
a
like,
van. By driving a van
It's a big
into a
haul.
bigger van and driving away.
Yeah, van in a bigger van.
Um,
He even has little toys to demonstrate to his little underlings.
he does demonstrate.
Well,
with-
this. And he
Just
puts a
drives it in.
van into the van.
Drove the van into the track.
Inception.
Yeah. So anyways, we gotta stop doing that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just
hard,
not.
though.
Otherwise, it's just not gonna stop.
Like, I was just, like, thinking to myself in the bathroom after watching this movie, and I was thinking in an Australian accent.
I know.
It's catchy.
Kind of. It's super catchy.
I love it.
So they're
Yeah,
like,
so
yeah,
they got
the radios are coming. They're gonna be at the usual spot. And so then, cut to the kids in a little dinghy that somehow has an outboard motor on it still, but it looks like an inflatable raft.
It does, doesn't it?
And they like go out and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna check what's over here. Maybe this is a lobster pot. We could sell lobster back. And then they pull out the thing and they're like, oh, well, that's not seafood. I guess we're in the salvage business. And they like take the thing and drive away. And then the henchmen get there.
Yeah, they actually passed the henchmen on their way to the drop.
Yeah.
After they had just taken
Henchmen get there and they pull up the rope and they're like, it's been cut. Those kids took it. Like instantly jumping to the most ridiculous conclusion that is also the correct conclusion just for the sake of advancing the plot.
Yep.
Because like my first thought would be like, oh, the rope's been cut. We should swim down there and try to find it.
That would have made sense.
It would have made way more sense. But like, nope, those kids must have taken it. The kids that we passed on the way here. So the rest of the movie basically plays out where the kids want a BMX track.
That's their ultimate goal.
And so they're like, we're going to sell these radios so we can get our bikes back. So they're selling them to other kids that ride BMX bikes. They're selling these radios for like $20 a piece, $30 a piece. And basically the rest of the movie just plays out as one big, long chase scene.
Yeah, these two henchmen that were supposed to get the radios.
Yeah, who, by the way, are named Mustache and the Creep. In the credits, Mustache and the Creep.
Oh, and they're
which is
just terrific.
Yeah, it's like the best like morning show DJ duo ever.
Mustache and the Creep.
Welcome to the morning show with Mustache and the Creep. You know.
Good morning.
Hey, get out of bed. Like, oh, okay. It's time to go to work. Like, oh. Yeah. Oh, that'd be horrible. Yeah. It's basically they chase him around a graveyard wearing masks, and then they're chasing him around town through a mall. Well, the kids are like riding their bikes, and the guys are chasing them on foot. That goes on for like most of the movie.
Yes, this is the bulk of the movie. It's pretty amazing.
And then at one point, then they get in a car, and they still can't catch them. And then the creep hops behind the wheel, and he doesn't know how to drive.
Yeah, Creep can't drive. It's real bad.
And, it's just fantastic. And the kids just keep evading them all the time. And the cops are listening in. There's a whole subplot with the cops, because they can hear them on their police frequency, because they're using like the same
that's the whole
police
point
frequency.
of the radio, is that they can listen to the cops so they know what's going on. So then when they're using them to talk to each other, the cops can also hear.
Yeah, so there's this whole subplot with the cops like listening in the entire time, which is pretty funny at some points. There's like the one lady cop that's just like really just getting a kick out of it. Everyone else is like, we got to find these kids. She's like, oh, they're talking about BMX stuff. We just need to find some kids with bikes. Some kids with bikes have our radios. And yeah, this is what I was trying to figure out. Who do you think the target audience was for this movie?
The target audience?
And like, who was it made for? Like,
well, I feel
was
like
this made for kids?
Maybe more of it felt like maybe kids, but more teens, like, and maybe young adults. It felt kind of teenage, right? This teenage heroes. It doesn't get too violent. There's a lot of like campy humor to it.
Yeah, Well, that's why I was wondering, like, if it was maybe like, you know, meant for like kids, like maybe like slightly older kids, because I feel like it's not like it's a little too campy for like teenagers. At least today, I don't know. Back in the '80s, if that
I feel like that could be for some 80s
like,
teenagers.
Yeah. I mean, it was a comedy.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah. Intentional comedy, I would assume. Because it kind of plays like, in some parts, like almost like Jingle All the Way, or like one of those like slapstick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Or like people get hurt, but they don't really get hurt, and they're like
That's all
kicking people off
ridiculous.
a dock by shooting them with a fire extinguisher and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah. But then, like, also though, there's like things like people getting crushed in a building by accident, like it's demolished by mistake, because there's all these like mishaps that happen with the radio. Because for whatever reason, a bunch of people have radios that are tapped into the police frequency.
Well, I think it's
also.
just a bunch of people who have bought the radios.
Is that
from
what it
these
is?
kids.
Okay.
So they're all on the same frequency, and some of them are working construction.
Yeah, like don't drop it until I say now, okay? And then they'll hear someone else on the other end of the radio say like now, and then it drops something on the guy's car and it like explodes.
Yeah.
And there's another thing that happens where like a bulldozer like pulls down like a building. It's like I'm going to get everyone out first, and then I'll give you the signal. And then someone comes in over the radio, is like, all right, get her out of here. And then he's like, all right, and just like drives away and like pulls down like this huge building. And like you're pretty sure there's people inside, and they're dead.
We hear some shouts and stuff. We don't see anything.
Yeah, no one's officially dead, but I'm assuming they're dead.
There's probably some death.
Yeah. Because I don't know. The tones didn't always mash up for me, and being familiar with the director's other work, which is definitely more like grindhouse, drive-in action.
Okay, yeah.
Stuff. Basically, the movies that the PJ character is talking about in all the scenes, like he makes those movies. So I'm like, oh, what's he really going for? But then there's like, like goofy slapstick stuff, like the guy getting the ridiculously long walkie-talkie antenna in the eye by accident, and all the entire chase scene is like BMX people riding past like a thing of shoes and like pull the shelf of shoes down, and then the guy's running like trip and fall into the shelf of shoes,
knock some mattresses over and falls on them,
and like and the guy's going down the up escalator by accident and all that kind of yeah. So I don't know. Anything else you wanted to that stood out to you?
Well, honestly, I thought the dialogue was fantastic in this movie. Like, there's like not that much of a plot. Like we said, most of the movie is this BMX chase. It's hilarious, but the dialogue between the three main characters, PJ, Goose, and Judy, some of it is just so funny and so like fast paced, and the things they say are just ridiculous. I was in stitches most of this time.
Yeah, no, they got some good ones. Like when they're pulling up what they think is the lobster trap, and they're like, "Oh, it's heavy." I'm like, "Oh yeah, maybe it's a dead body." And she's like, "Yeah, very funny. Can you give me a hand?" He's like, "Yeah, there might be one in the box."
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Oh, so much humor, especially Goose. Like just so much humor, just really deadpan.
Yeah,
this just makes it so funny to me. I love that.
He had a couple other ones too that I forgot. Did you write any of them down?
No, I had the box one.
Because there was a couple.
Yeah,
a couple of good ones. But then there's like Fatty Ice Cream. The reason we call him Fatty Ice Cream is because at one point he's rocking out from the ice cream shop with 2 cones, just double fisting 2 cones, and Goose and PJ are like zooming by to go save Judy, and the first one like grabs the ice cream cone out of his hand, and he like turns around and he's like, "What?" And then the other one comes up behind him and also grabs the ice cream cone out of his hand. And then they each just like take a bite and then throw it behind them. And then when he runs after them, he slips on one and then falls back and lands on the other. It's
I loved it.
yeah, no, it was good. Also, did you notice that they were all wearing BMX Bandits shirts
Yeah.
with like the logo of the movie on them?
Yeah.
That was great.
Hilarious.
Yeah, the whole chase kind of ends with them getting all the kids in the town to get on their bikes and ride
Go stop the bad guys.
to go stop the bad guys and get a BMX track somehow.
Yeah. Well, it's like. Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's back up a sec for the plot. Like most of the movie is the bad guys chasing.
Yeah.
The BMX Bandits, those three, right? And that scene ends with them like going to where they're using foam fertilizer on some grass, which we didn't know was a thing. All of a sudden, there's just a scene of some people shooting foam onto the grass.
Yeah.
And then the
Just
car,
foaming it up.
and the car hits it, that's chasing them.
Yeah.
And then it foams up insanely, and everyone's covered in foam, and that's how and then like the female cop that you mentioned finds fatty ice cream with a walkie-talkie, and is like, "Where'd you get that?" And that's the end of that scene. And then we have the foam scene, and then they're at the police station.
No, I think you gotta. Is that how it goes?
I think so.
I thought the foam was at the very, very end. Because I thought, like, what happens was the kids... No, maybe not. At some point, the three kids end up at the police station. Because the female cop finds fatty ice cream. And they're like, "Where'd you get that radio?" And
then presumably...
And then...
he
somehow they
tells them, and
yeah.
but it just skips to them being
They're just already at the police station. And the police chief's like, "You caused an awful lot of damage, and it's got to get paid for. But luckily there's a reward out for these guys' capture, and it might cover some of the damage that you caused." And then they're like, "Well, we got a plan." It's like, "I don't got time to hear your plan. Get out of my face. I got to go catch some bad guys." Like, "No, but it's a good plan." Like, no, I don't care. Get out. And so they get out, and then they gather the horde of children. The horde of children.
I love that.
And they are like, "What do we want? A BMX track. When do we want it? Now!" And then they go off and like have this plan to use all the kids on BMX bikes to catch the bad guys.
Yeah, the main three are riding around with the box that had the walkie-talkies in it.
Yeah.
Knowing that they're going to be found, and then they are found, and they hand over the box because they know that once they get the box, they'll go back to their hideout.
Yeah.
And they've got all the kids on the bikes with the actual radios radioing in where the car is going, so that they'll know where their hideout is. But what wasn't part of the plan is that they take Judy with them as insurance, and they say that they'll kill her if anything goes wrong.
Yeah, so then the boys have to save her, and they're like driving away in like a garbage truck.
Well, I
assume.
don't.
Or maybe it was like
it wasn't a garbage truck. It said China Bear on it, and there was a big panda on it. But that's all we know about the truck.
Oh right, it was probably the truck that they were going to use to catch the van, to drive the van into the truck.
Oh yes, truck in the van.
Yeah,
van
it all comes back
$250,000.
around. Yeah, all comes back around with the toy truck and the van. So it's probably the same truck. So they have to like rescue her from that, and then I thought that was when they crashed into the foam.
Oh, maybe it was. Maybe that's.
And then they get arrested, but you don't actually see them getting arrested. And
yeah, they all crash into the foam. Everyone's caught, and then it cuts to them at the BMX track.
And they have a BMX track, but what I thought all the money had to go pay for all the like construction damage and like loss of life that they caused indirectly.
Yeah, through
a series of very unfortunate misunderstandings.
Yeah.
and that all the direct damage that they caused at that mall.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was no denouement in this movie.
No,
it was like
they skipped
crash
right over
into
that.
the foam, and then presumably the bad guys were caught, and then they're at the BMX track, and the credits start. And it's like, I guess all is good now. I guess.
Yeah, because I mean,
But-
like their whole goal for the whole movie was to eventually get a BMX track.
Yep.
And
Place
so
where kids could ride their BMX.
I guess they just
without
get it.
getting hassled. Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe. Hang on now.
Mm.
Maybe all the reward money went to pay off the damage, and then the city gave them a BMX track as like a thank you.
Maybe.
Yeah, because it was the bank. The bank was offering the reward money. And so, or maybe they just went to the bank and they were like, just give us a BMX track, yeah? All right, yeah. Right, don't worry about it. Don't worry about paying off the construction damages and the wives of all the construction, all the construction worker widows and husbands we crushed by accident in a falling building mishap. Just give us a bloody BMX track, yeah? And they're like, yeah, all right. Yeah, it makes sense.
Sounds fair.
And the
guess,
construction widows are going, well, hang on. I don't even ride a bike.
No. Yeah.
There's also one song on the soundtrack.
Yeah, well, there was two.
Was there two?
Yeah, there were two moods.
Oh, okay.
One was chase, and one was not chase.
Yeah.
And it was mostly
It's
chase.
mostly chase.
Yes, the movie soundtrack was abysmally cheesy and simplistic.
And bad.
Just real bad. And yeah, almost as bad as Nicole Kidman's hair.
What are you talking about?
It was real wow.
How do you mean?
I mean, wow.
Oh, no, it was full on
it
Hermione
was-
Granger.
Yeah. Like
It was
real big 80s hair.
It was like Bush Christmas happened on her head.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I have that in the pros and the cons. Because
all right.
man, it's hideous, but damn, it's funny.
Yeah.
And
on the topic of Nicole
it's
Kidman,
appropriate for that time.
I wrote down Nicole Kid-man in capitals to remind myself about the scene where she rides on the BMX loop thing.
Oh yeah, just after they've sold a bunch of walkie-talkies and they get enough money to repair their bikes, they also buy a bike for Judy because she was part of it.
Yeah. And so then they're like, all right, Judy, go do your stuff. And she gets on the bike and hits I guess there's like a park or something.
Yeah, all of a
like
sudden-
it's not
all
like
of a
they
sudden
don't
they're
have
on a half pipe. I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know what their problem is. Why they don't just ride their bikes at the half pipe. Why they also need a track. But anyways, so then there's shots of Judy like riding her bike up and down the half pipe, doing little flippity loops and push pop shove-its and whatever. I played Tony Hawk. And it's very obviously a dude
Oh yeah.
who's like a foot taller than her and has shoulders like twice as wide as her, doing all these bike stunts, and is also completely flat-chested.
Yep.
And yeah, it's very obvious not Nicole Kidman stunt double with
Yeah.
like a bad curly wig sticking out the back of the bike helmet.
They just didn't have any female stunt doubles.
I
to
guess
use or
not.
something?
I mean, men double women in Hollywood all the time too. There's
It's true.
that. I think it's Friday the 13th 4. And that girl gets thrown out the window and she's like falling in slow motion and just has the most muscular legs you ever see. She's wearing like a nightgown, right?
Oh yeah.
And the guy, I guess, waxed his legs for that
yeah.
part. So it's like he tried a little bit, but it's just like super muscular dude legs. And yeah,
Oh dear.
it's not like it doesn't happen. But yeah, the dude was like a full on foot taller than she was.
Oh, it turns out I did have another one of the
Yeah.
lines written down. One of Goose's lines, where they're trying to figure out, what they're going to do to pay for their bikes and everything.
Oh yeah.
right? And PJ says, he's all optimistic. He's like, well, if we'll put our heads together, I'm sure we can come up with something. And Goose says, yeah, dandruff shower.
Right.
It was clever. I liked it.
That's the...
Not enough dandruff jokes in today's movies.
No, it's very hard to pull off a dandruff joke that doesn't have any actual dandruff involved.
Yep.
And they did it.
Yeah.
They didn't stoop to having fake dandruff. So, bravo to them. Man, I'm kind of drawing a blank on what to say about this movie. I feel like we've covered a lot of it very quickly.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of substance.
Not really. No, it's just a bunch of really ridiculous things that happen.
Yeah.
I do have one. They have like classic. It's just this classic scene, where they have this drunk, right, who sees something ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And then pours out his booze from the ridiculous thing he's just seen because he's assuming it's from his booze. When Mustache and the Creep are chasing them around in the graveyard wearing these creepy masks, right? And they run out of the graveyard past the drunk guy, who then gets up and is like, "Oh, kids are running," and then the two guys are climbing over the fence of the graveyard wearing these creepy masks, and he sees them and just does this weird double take and then kind of shakes his hand at them a little bit, and then they run off, and then he just pours out his alcohol.
Yeah.
I love that. That was just classic. I love it. And then part of the chase scene, I have no idea how they got there or where it came from, but all of a sudden they're at water slides, and the three of them take their bikes and, like, not on the bikes because they wouldn't quite fit, but they like throw their bikes and hang on to them and ride down a freaking water slide with their BMX bikes. And then the Mustache runs up to, like, where the water slides start, and he's like, "You darn kids!" And then
he's like literally like shaking his fist at them.
Yeah, and then
fantastic.
Some darn little chubbers comes up behind him because he's waiting at the start of the water slide and just shoves him down the water slide
just in a
suit.
Mischievous little fat boy.
And then he doesn't even go down after him; he just walks away.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That was really good.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
No, this movie is a lot of fun, I think. I enjoyed it. I do like the scene where they kick the two Mustache and the Creep off the dock when Judy tries to escape in the rowboat, but the rowboat's still tied to the dock.
Oh yeah.
So then the Creep just grabs
the
rope and just starts pulling her back in. Yeah, and then Goose and Maverick. PJ, thank you.
Yeah, I thought that a bunch of times too.
Ride in with like a not like a pool cue, but like a.
What's it?
It's for like hooking.
It's a fishing spear.
Like hooking. Oh, I thought it was for like hooking boats. Like for pulling boats in.
Well, I think it was pointy on the end as well as had the little hook. Like I think it was a fishing spear.
Oh, maybe. Oh no, I just saw the little hook and I thought it was for like when like guys are coming into the docks, you like reach out and pull them in.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, so he has like a javelin,
essentially,
or a jousting spear, and he like comes and like javelins one of the guys off the dock, and then the other one comes in behind with a fire extinguisher and just like sprays the dude in the face with the fire extinguisher until he also falls into the water.
Yep.
And then they ride away.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Thoughts? Final thoughts?
Final thoughts is that this movie is fantastic.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't know what to expect. I expected it to be ridiculous, at least, and it was that. I did not expect it to be that funny. Like,
no,
I thought it was hilarious.
I was not expecting it to be as legitimately funny.
Yeah,
as it was.
Humorously written.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be hilarious and bad, and it's actually not terrible. It's a pretty good, fun little romp
for sure,
involving teens on bicycles. yeah, and there's not really much more I can add to that. I'm trying to like generate content here, but I'm going. It's like, yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
it was good. Would watch again
easily. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it a "Don't You Forget About Me" Breakfast Club fist bump. I assume you are as well.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Ditto.
Cool. We were supposed to do Rotten Tomatoes, but some reason I doubt that this movie has been reviewed on Rotten Tomatoes, but we're going to find out. BMX Bandits. Oh, would you look at that? It has been. What do you think?
BMX Bandits. It's like 78.
No, not quite. 67.
Okay.
Still fresh. So that's a solid, fresh rating.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I guess I liked it a little bit more than they did.
Yeah, but that's all right. 1983, by the way.
Ah, my bad.
1983. So there you go. If you want to check out BMX Bandits, we recommend it. It's on Shout Factory TV for free. Go check that website out. They got some other good stuff on there. You can watch Super Sentai on there.
Oh, that's right.
The actual Japanese show that Power Rangers is based on.
And uses a lot of the footage for.
Most of the footage for. You can watch all that stuff on there. Bunch of other stuff. Mystery Science Theater. They got a bunch of old Mystery Science Theater on there. Cool stuff. We don't have a movie picked for next month. Or we do, and I forgot what it was. I tried to find my list, and I don't know where I put it.
But maybe we'll get a swell suggestion.
Swell suggestions would be welcome. If you want to throw some swell suggestions our way, you can do so on Twitter at RetroCrapPod. Check out RetroCrapPod on Patreon if you want to toss us a few bucks. Support the show. We're going to do some Patreon exclusive content soon. We got to decide what we're going to do still. We have kicking around a couple of ideas. You retrocrappod@gmail.com. We're on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, YouTube, anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us. If you want to give us a thumbs up, 5-star review, 1-star review, I don't really care. Leave a review, leave a rating, subscribe to the show, tell all your friends about it. It really helps us out a lot. And we will be back next month with a movie.
For sure.
We will discuss what we're going to watch after we're done here. Yeah. Anything else? Final thoughts on BMX Bandits?
I think the only thing I didn't mention is that every single time a BMX bike passes the camera, there's like a little sci-fi sound effect.
Oh yeah, it's like a choo. It's pretty great. Yeah, check out more Brian Trenchard-Smith movies too, because the dude is fantastic. I have not seen a movie of his that I haven't liked. I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen a bunch of them, and he does some good stuff. Dead End Drive-In is probably my favorite. Check that one out. And we're gonna do some Brian Trenchard-Smith movies on this show. Actually, I just bought some on Amazon.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think that does it for all of us here at the show. I'd like to thank you for tuning in, and fuck. Anyways, until next time, keep watching crap.